What's poppin', y'all? This documentary caused a lot of controversy. So, Sneo was supposed to drop and had scheduled, after editing, a documentary on his time in Spain. I think they were in Mallorca. They were somewhere. I don't think they were in Marbella. That's usually like the more popular destination, but they were somewhere in Spain. This was after Ye had been working with Dave Blunt's, and he went out to Spain with him. Top 5, not Dave Blunt's. Yeah, Sneo went out to Spain with him to film that whole era. That's when he hopped on the Piers Morgan interview and he walked off, and Sneo was like wearing the suit and he was just staying in the background. And Top 5 showed up. A bunch of people showed up, and that's where the infamous Double H song came out. No, not Triple H, Double H. And one of the Yeezy accounts would tweet out about Sneeko's documentary on Ye. Apparently, Milo and Yeezy LLC took the documentary down before it was even released, LMAO. And it would say in a few hours, this was before, Sneo will release a documentary about Ye, covering events dated from May 2025 to February 2026. It's important to remember that Ye has already taken responsibility and apologized for what he said and did during his crash out, and nothing from that period reflects who he is today. Now, this was recorded a while back. So a little bit of context right now for this to come out, because it ended up getting taken down, never even really premiered, or if it did, I didn't catch it. But this was a time when Ye was, some people would say, out of his mind. Regardless, he wants to leave that time behind him, right? And that's all fine and good. And if you're a Ye stan, you're probably like, yeah, why would you even drop the documentary right now? And there's two sides to this. And I will say that this should be another lesson that reinforces what I constantly say about Ye. And this is coming from somebody that loves Ye music. So the most recent thing to happen with this Double H incident is that Andrew Tate, a clavicular guy, Sneo, Fresh and Fit, all of those guys, they were in a Sprinter van. They played the song. People were throwing up certain symbols that did not relate to any American gangs, at least. And then it got played at the club again. This turned into an international incident. And this is post-Ye apology. Ye just apologizes. He's trying to get everything together. Bill Ackman, I was about to say Sam Altman. I don't know why that name is easy to confuse. Bill Ackman, he is Jewish. He's an ultra-billionaire guy. He was the guy that was asking for protesters to be doxxed. Like, absolute terror of a guy. But he sanctioned the apology because he would quote Ye's apology and say, yeah, I appreciate this. So that's how Ye's apology was sanctioned. And he was set to perform for the first time in quite a while. I think since South Korea or since Italy. Italy's supposed to be happening next. So since South Korea, and then this happens. And this is the worst thing that could possibly happen for him. What happens after? Sneo doesn't apologize. Andrew Tate starts groveling and going on an apology tour after ripping hard R's and trying to come from... This is it's kind of embarrassing. But yeah, so that whole situation happens. This causes a rift between Sneo and Andrew Tate even further than the one that already existed. And Sneeko's kind of trying to hold the line, I guess, and not apologize and say that was a song from this era of Ye's life, etc. So he's trying to capitalize on the situation by dropping this documentary because this footage has been there for a very long time. Like we said, it would have made sense to drop it 9 months ago, but I know this for sure because there are certain things that I've filmed and it's been over a year and I haven't dropped them, and I should have dropped them a year ago. So I get when other things are going on in certain content creators' life that they're just like, maybe this is for later. And a little bit of context is that Sneo went out there on his own dime. He was not paid while he was there. He was not an official member of the team. He paid for his own expenses, all of that, which is important to note because he put his career on pause to help Ye during this time while, was it Bully? A bunch of these different tracks, I think it was Bully, were being recorded. Sneo got linked up to Ye via Nick Fuentes in around 2022 era when Ye was kind of trying to get into politics, Ye 24. Nick Fuentes put him on because the first person to really platform him, and basically Sneo got banned, one of his strikes on YouTube, because he decided to put Nick Fuentes on at a time when this guy was just, putting him on was a bonehead move. It was not a smart thing to do, but he did that anyway. Funny enough, No Jumper put him on after Sneo, because I think Sneo got him onto No Jumper after that as well. But they didn't suffer as much because I think they knew how to clip him and like push against him. Either way, they knew how to stay safer within the guidelines of YouTube. So that's how Sneo initially got in with Ye. And then Ye just, I think he like fell out with Ye, or Ye didn't want him on the team anymore, and then he came back. So Sneo follows this up and says, I took it down. All of the footage in this has already been released. And then the account says, understood. And Sneo would explain why he took down the video. And that he would do that on his own stream. While I'm going to play you guys that clip right now.
Yeah, and I'll say, it wasn't Milo, it wasn't easy. I talked, I'm not going to get that specific, but, you know, it's unfortunate because it's so much of my life as well. Look at the reputational hits I face. I just want to post videos, bro. No, it's not Jewish lawyers or anything. I've said, like, I'm not here. I don't want to jeopardize anybody. I'm not doing it because of pressure. I'm doing it out of respect because I love the guy. He's a friend, greatest artist of all time, super huge, major inspiration, and I would never do anything intentionally to jeopardize, and that's not my goal. So that's all I'll say.
He doesn't want to say it here, but I'll say it. Ye hit him and said, yo, I'm trying to repair my image. What the hell are you doing? Can you take this thing down? This doesn't help me. Yeah, the footage is out, but everything that you're doing is creating a new spotlight on it. And that's where I think this, not confusion, but where two different sides come into play. Where Sneeko's looking at it like, yo, I went over there. I put my career on hold. I filmed. I was with you when you were the most radioactive while I was in the process of trying to get uncanceled. Like, because he was doing his Project X like vlogs on Twitter, which Elon slapped that out the way and was like, we are not rewarding you for this. Oh, hey, you guys created some articles. Here's $1 million to number one for that. When like Sneeko was creating some great work with that Project X stuff. So he was working on getting unbanned. I think he ended up getting unbanned off of YouTube, and no, it wasn't. I don't think YouTube happened yet, but he was cleaning up his image. And then he hops in this with Ye, which is nuclear. So he takes a huge risk for Ye. He films all this footage himself. The footage is already out there, and the footage is his. He filmed it. So it's not like these guys own the footage. Now, they do own the rights to the music, so they could try to take down the music, but he's well within his right to put this out. And then they're calling him up saying, or Ye is calling him up, who is always about himself, very selfish, and if you're not serving him anymore, get the hell out the way. Like, Ye comes first. Like, he's not sacrificing himself for anybody. I mean, the closest I guess we could get to that was whenever the VMAs was, and he was off not the goose, but he was off the Henny when he did that. And that was for Jay, and I don't think he's doing that for anybody anymore. Like, Jay was probably the only person in his life where he was gonna go like that for him, or his kids currently. So this kind of sucks for Sneeko, but it is also a little bit insensitive when you look at it like, dog, Ye is trying to clean up his image right now. And while this is all going on, this is the other side to look at it. While this is all going on, you are lighting a flame and shining a spotlight on this era of Ye that he doesn't want out there. And sure, logically, yeah, the footage is already out there. You recorded it, but releasing it now is like pointing every headline at it, especially when you're currently radioactive. But then this is where the friendship two-way thing comes in, which is if Sneeko was willing to sacrifice, and Sneeko does not have as much money, resources, etc. that Ye has, not even a fraction of it, and he was willing to do that for you, him releasing a documentary about his own time on his own story, you should be like, yeah, I'm trying to go through this, but like maybe you could release it a different time, or just let it rock, and then you phone everybody and you're like, hey, I didn't sanction this, this is this guy posting it on his own, I don't approve of it. That's like a good friend thing to do. But with Ye, like I said, the guy's all in it for himself. He's looking at it like, yeah, little boy, stay out the way, I'm trying to recover. And obviously he's not he's not saying that directly and he's trying to be respectful, but that's really the only way I can interpret it. Ye is all about himself. And Dave Bluntz is somebody that suffered tremendously from working with Ye. Dave Bluntz was just on his way up, and Dave Bluntz was controversial, of course. Like he had controversial lyrics, but nothing to this degree. And this is the thing, is that Ye was kind of blurring political aspirations with the music. So he couldn't just pull the, oh, I'm just an artist and I'm being very like aggressive, because a Lil Darky is an example of some guy that has done certain things that can agitate that community, but he's strictly an artist. He's not a political movement whatsoever. And granted, he's not as big as a Ye. Well, especially not when those songs were coming out. So Dave Bluntz suffered a bunch from that, and he fell back from Ye, and I don't know if he made some allegations towards Ye or anything like that, but that definitely hindered a lot of the potential collaborations that Dave Bluntz could have gotten or been offered during that period when he decided to work with Ye. And probably after that, because Dave Bluntz, like, I think he's still doing his thing. He's still got his community and fan base, but Dave Bluntz isn't as hot as right before he got with Ye. And some people will say, like, nah, Ye got him hot. Man, Ye tapped in with him because he was popping. So this would continue, and Sneo would tweet out saying, I chose to scrap my documentary out of respect. The film covered pivotal years of my life, highlighting widely circulated media stories, many of which were adjacent to my friend, who today is on another path. No, my hand wasn't forced. No, I did not get the call. No, I am not sorry. And Milo, who's I think like head of or some sort of executive position around Ye, says true. And so this seems like one of Sneeko's great works, because this guy, like, everything that surrounds him, and he does do a lot of this himself, is just like controversial, and you're like, damn. But like, it's always the negative stuff is gonna spread so much further than the positive stuff. But like a really, really good example of a documentary that this guy did with like great storytelling was when he went to Bosnia. It was initially only available on X because he was banned on YouTube, but it should be available on YouTube right now. It's called like Letter to Bosnia or something like that. So just watch that. That is an amazing, amazing piece of work. Really good piece of work. And it just paints a different side of somebody, which I'm always about. Like, we got to see the objective view of this individual, not just what we're getting bombarded with, which is always going to be negative because that spreads more. And then during his stream, he would also get a call from Milo. And I'm going to play you guys that clip right now.
Getting the call. Milo's calling me. Hey, Milo, I'm on stream.
Oh, okay. Should we talk later?
If you want it, I mean, it could also be, depends on what you want.
I very much don't want to have a conversation broadcast to the world, but I appreciate the offer. I will chat to you when you can.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, absolutely fine.
Everything's fine from your end and my end?
Yeah, all right. God bless you.
All right, God bless. All right. Man, good. Oh, what happened to Elijah Schaefer? Woo! That, you do not want to around with Milo. Angola, you do not want to around with Milo. Holy moly, that guy, that guy is, relentless is definitely one word to use for him. He's a relentless person.
So yeah, that situation, I don't think they threatened Sneo with anything, but Milo is like Ye's soldier. Milo is, I don't know if the dude claims gay now because he said he stopped being that, but he's got the messiness of one. And there's a lot of messy stuff that could be brought out about Sneo that the public doesn't know, and that Milo for sure knows, especially after how Milo exposed this guy Elijah Schaefer, who was DDG's op, hating on DDG's girl and just hating on like other minorities in general. Meanwhile, he was acting far more degenerate than all of them could possibly imagine. Really, like this guy, a Sexy Red would look at him like, damn, you doing all that? So that's how bad that guy was moving. So I don't think there was any threat involved. But me looking at this, it just solidifies what Big Sean also says, and even what a John Legend has said before, which is like, yo, you give Ye a lot, and yeah, he'll do for you, but he will always remain number one, and it will never sacrifice anything that he's got going on or whatever path he's trying to go to allow you to do your thing. And it's not even a sacrifice that he would have to make. It's not like Ye is sanctioning this. It's not like Ye is licensing a song for him. This guy's releasing a documentary on his life using footage from a recording that he made, that he was allowed to make on his own dime. And Ye is like, nah. So just goes to show anybody should learn this. Ye is for himself, most selfish guy ever. And I mean, I don't care how selfish he is because the only interaction I have with Ye is appreciating his music, seeing him perform. Maybe if he drops some fire stuff, copping that. And, well, not copping anything off of that Super Bowl commercial last year. That's for sure. Well, apparently a bunch of people that copped that, I think they didn't even get their stuff, funny enough, because they just shut them down on Shopify. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Do you think Sneo got done dirty by Ye and his team? Or, and let's be really fair, especially even if you're a Ye fan, because some of these Ye fans, they wanted to see this documentary because they're looking at it like, yo, he's not trying to glorify the song or what Ye did or anything. He's like painting his own story, and we get a glimpse and a perspective into this era of Ye, which was explosive, to say the least. Just like some beepers were in a certain region of the world. But yeah, I think this is typical Ye, so I can't say anybody should be surprised. But I mean, the amount of effort it takes to work on a documentary and then have to scrap it, that's got to be heartbreaking. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.